Life often unfolds like a journey through a dense and unpredictable forest. We set out with aspirations, hopes and dreams, charting a course we imagine will lead to fulfillment and joy. But along the way there are pitfalls, storms and missteps. We stray from the path, lose our way, and sometimes find ourselves standing amidst the wreckage of what might have been. It is in these moments, surrounded by the shadows of wasted opportunities and lost years, that the heart longs for restoration. Yet, in the hands of God, even time lost is not time wasted. When we think of lost years, we imagine missed chances, broken relationships, and seasons where it felt as though life stood still or crumbled beneath us. Perhaps it was due to our own mistakes, or perhaps it was the result of circumstances beyond our control. The losses felt deeply, a gnawing regret, a lingering pain. Yet if God is the creator of time itself, then surely he is not constrained by its passage. What is lost to us is not lost to him. What we perceive as squandered, he sees as fertile ground for redemption. To understand how God restores lost years, we must first confront the truth of their existence. We often carry a tendency to avoid this acknowledgement, brushing aside the past or burying it beneath layers of distraction. But denial cannot heal wounds, and ignorance cannot reclaim time. The lost years, whether caused by sin, suffering, or sorrow, must be named and laid bare before the one who sees all. For God's work of restoration begins where honesty and surrender meet. Imagine for a moment a field ravaged by fire. What once was fertile and full of life now lies barren, scorched, and desolate. To the human eye, it seems beyond repair, yet beneath the ashes, the soil holds potential. It is richer, nourished by the remnants of what once grew there. In time, with care and cultivation, the field can bear fruit again, perhaps even greater than before. So it is with the human soul. The years we consider wasted are not a void but a canvas upon which God paints his masterpiece of redemption. God's restoration does not simply replace what was lost, it transforms it. He does not rewind the clock or erase the past. Instead, he weaves the threads of brokenness and loss into a tapestry of meaning and beauty. He takes the barren field and makes it fruitful. He takes the shattered pieces and creates something whole and holy. This is no mere compensation. It is a profound act of renewal that brings glory to him and hope to us. Consider how often we measure the value of time by our own limited standards. We see years marked by career success or family milestones as productive, and those marked by failure or stagnation as wasted. Yet God operates on an eternal scale. His view is not confined to the rise and fall of human achievements. He sees the heart. He sees the lessons learned in suffering, the humility birthed in failure, and the faith forged in waiting. What we see as loss, he sees as preparation. In the midst of lost years, there is often a sense of divine absence. We cry out, searching for evidence of his presence, and find only silence. Yet in these moments, God is not absent. He is at work in ways we cannot perceive. Just as a gardener tends to the roots hidden beneath the soil, so God works beneath the surface of our lives, cultivating growth that will one day break forth into the light. Patience is required, for restoration is not an instant act, but a gradual process that unfolds in his perfect timing. There is also a profound mystery in how God uses time itself as a tool of healing. He does not merely restore what was taken, he brings forth something greater. The years the locusts have eaten are not simply given back, they are multiplied in their impact. This multiplication does not always take the form we expect. It may not mean the restoration of a lost job or the reversal of a missed opportunity. Instead, it may come through the deepened character, renewed purpose, and unshakable faith that emerge from the experience of loss. God's restoration also invites us into active participation. It is not a passive process where we sit back and watch him work. He calls us to respond, to trust, to obey, to hope. This is not to suggest that our efforts earn his restoration, for it is a gift of grace. But grace invites a response. It beckons us to align our hearts with his purposes, to open our hands and release our grip on the past. In doing so, we create space for his transformative work to take place. As we journey through restoration, we must guard against the temptation to measure its success by earthly standards alone. It is natural to long for tangible results, a restored relationship, a renewed career, a clear sense of purpose. Yet God's work often transcends these outward signs. His ultimate aim is not merely to restore what was lost, but to draw us closer to Him. The greatest restoration is the reconciliation of our hearts to their Creator, for in Him we find the fulfillment of every longing. There is also a profound communal aspect to God's restoration. The work He does in our lives is never just for us. It spills over, touching those around us and pointing them toward His goodness. When we allow God to restore our lost years, we become living testimonies of His grace. Our stories of redemption encourage others who are walking through their own seasons of loss. In this way, restoration becomes not just a personal experience, but a collective one, a reminder that we are all part of a greater story. The restoration of lost years also carries with it a call to gratitude. It is easy to become so focused on what we have regained that we forget to thank the giver. Yet gratitude is the foundation of joy. When we acknowledge God's hand in our restoration, we are reminded of His faithfulness and His unfailing love. This gratitude fuels our worship and deepens our trust, creating a cycle of grace that sustains us through life's challenges. Finally, we must recognize that the ultimate restoration lies not in this life, but in the life to come. Even as God restores lost years on earth, there are losses that will not be fully healed until eternity. The relationships severed by death, the opportunities that never return, the scars that remain, these remind us that we are pilgrims on a journey. Our true home is not here but with Him. In His presence every tear will be wiped away and every loss will be redeemed. This eternal perspective gives us hope, even in the face of life's deepest sorrows. The promise of restoration is not a denial of loss, but a declaration of God's sovereignty over it. He is the one who brings beauty from ashes, joy from mourning, and life from death. He is the Redeemer of time, the healer of wounds, and the restorer of lost years. In Him, nothing is wasted. Every moment, every struggle, every tear is woven into the fabric of His redemptive plan. If you find yourself today in a season of loss, take heart. The God who created time can redeem it. The years that feel wasted can become the foundation for something new and beautiful. Trust in His goodness, surrender to His work, and watch as He takes what was broken and makes it whole for His glory and your good. In His hands, nothing is truly lost. Everything is made new,